XRP finally breaks through and goes mainstream. What's the fallout? All in Crypto and Jay Claver are here to walk us through the entire scenario. Oh, and we've snagged some brand new clips from Paul Barron too. Matt Hogan's also weighing in with his latest takes on XRP, Ripple Prime, and honestly, we're stacked with updates and intel on this one. No fluff, let's get right into it. There's way too much good stuff to waste time. Take a listen.
I wanted to ask you, why are you all in on XRP?
I spent a year and a half waking up every day trying to figure out how I was wrong. Similar to Michael Burry, right? Like you have this thesis, you have this conviction, and if you're a critical thinker and you are intelligent, you know that you don't know everything. And so you try to poke holes in your own thesis. And I couldn't poke any holes in it. And I don't think I'm the smartest person in the world. There are people that are far more intelligent than I am. But after spending that much time on it and thinking critically through things and looking over everything, I just came to the conclusion that this is absolutely going to be adopted at scale and used to grease the rails, the payment rails for how everything is going to move in the future. For back-end settlement for institutions and the back end of the stock market, other markets, global commerce. It's really the only thing that's strategically positioned to be able to facilitate that through all the different things that have happened over the past 13 years that it's been around. And so because of that, again, I'm a long-term investor. I think investments, if you are investing in something, I think it's a 4-year time horizon at a minimum. And so I consolidated my position all in on XRP in 22. So we're not even to the 4-year time horizon that I had originally set for myself. We're close. Yeah. 26, February of 26 will be about 4 years that I've had this consolidated position. And I thought at least by that point, we would see, some significant upside. And we have. I mean, we've already seen a 10x for what I bought a lot of XRP at. But I think there's going to continue to be upside, and that's why I continue to stay here and I continue to dollar cost average even at $2 and $3. I believe over the long term that this asset goes to $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 over the next 10 years, and potentially much faster than people realize.
Picture $100,000 unfolding over the next 10 years. Let that sink in for a second. For me, we're in multi-billionaire dreamland. Where does that put you on the map? I get it. Saying this stuff out loud feels borderline ridiculous, but 10 years down the road, that's my reality. Whether it genuinely skyrockets to 100 grand though, here's the deal. 8 to 10,000 and I'm popping champagne. That's the number that gets me sleeping like a baby. Listen to this.
We have talked to a handful of fund managers that have launched XRP ETFs here recently, all of which have been very successful. Do you think we're at a phase now where the institutional validity that's being put out there within Wall Street, along with the demand that's coming from both institution and retail, has this started to step XRP up to the level of what's happening in the Bitcoin and ETH ETFs?
I think that we're moving in that direction, right? I think that there is a very interesting story playing out around stablecoins. XRP is one of the only chains that also has its own stablecoin, right? The RLUSD. And I think that that adds a new element to what they might be able to do in terms of building business around the chain. Don't forget, I think one of the most exciting prospects of these new rails is going to be the vast increase in the number of computer-to-computer transactions that are going to start to occur as we see more people get comfortable with Web3 models, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that, when you have your own stablecoin and you've got this chain that is already a public chain that has an independent verification network operating around it, this starts to become, I think, a pretty interesting business case, which is why we've been looking to partner with and doing more with Ripple over the last couple of years. Don't forget, they had some challenges here in the U.S. while that lawsuit was on.
Sure.
And outside the U.S., they've been continuing to build their business dramatically. We operate globally, so we've been engaged with them in Asia for some time, and now we're seeing that start to spread out to more regions of the world.
XRP is the absolute gold mine of crypto you should be scooping up right now. Demolishes Bitcoin, embarrasses Ethereum, destroys Solana. At whatever price is flashing on your screen today, we're going to circle back to this exact snapshot in time and realize we actually buckled down, decoded what was brewing behind the scenes, and milked every possible advantage from this opportunity. And when we finally gather around to celebrate those massive wins together, that's the finish line I'm sprinting toward. Okay, wait, did he really just say a few years ago? Hang on, let me pull that back up. Take a listen.
Man, everybody wants to know, how did you get the XRP ticker symbol? That's prime real estate right there.
All credit goes to Hunter Horsley. You know, our CEO at Bitwise, a few years ago, you have to reserve these tickers. So you have to petition the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ that you want to reserve these tickers, that you're planning to launch an ETF related to that ticker. And then you have to prove that you're planning to do that. You have to show momentum in that direction. And we looked back in our archive. It was a few years ago. Hunter told Teddy that we wanted to reserve this because we knew we were marching in the direction of XRP. So really excited to have that ticker. You know, the ticker's not everything, but it's an important thing. And obviously that is the iconic ticker. So it was great to have that for launch.
Oh, absolutely.
Man, that clip was loaded with gold. Seriously packed with valuable stuff. All right, check this out. Ondo Finance just put this up about tokenization. Listen to this one.
One message I have for institutions is that you cannot afford to wait any longer.
The time is now.
The moment to jump in is now.
If you're not at the table, you probably are on the menu.
I would say act now and don't wait for it, because first movers are now shaping the industry, setting the rules, and really capturing part of the value chain. And for everyone else who is still waiting and waits to be a follower, it will be much harder to get back in.
If you're not looking at this actively, I think a fast follow strategy is not going to be the most successful approach.
I am really hoping that we'll take the best of TradFi and the best of DeFi and find this nice middle ground.
Crypto is no longer Wild West. Crypto is developed tremendously. There is regulation, there is infrastructure.
What we're seeing, as I've said, is a sea change, a change in attitudes, a change in regulation. So many things are aligning to facilitate or create the conditions for digital asset adoption.
You should see digital assets as an opportunity, not as a threat. And the sooner you embrace it, the better off you'll be long term.
It's a first mover advantage that you're going to get, which is going to be super sticky.
So come and you'll see that we can serve you.
Ondo's powering the institutional wave, and I'm here for it. All right, first 30 minutes. Bitwise is crushing it once again. XRP ETFs are looking at another $20 to $30 million haul today in volume numbers. And we've got liftoff. 21 shares drop confirmation that they're in holding pattern mode, waiting for the SEC to slap that final stamp of approval on Toxer. Honestly puzzled why they picked that ticker. Zero connection to XRP from what I can tell, but you know what? No complaints here. If that's their play, then run with it. All right, breaking the bonds of Bitcoin. Let me fire this one up. Listen to this.
Even at this table where you just looking to go deeper into Ethereum, go into Litecoin or HBAR or XRP, go into an index product like Coindesk 5, you're immediately starting to kind of break the bonds of Bitcoin only and starting to release yourself from some of that kind of macro contained investment thesis and starting to participate in some of these growth stories.
Yeah. I would love to add, that's exactly where the conversation is with our investors, getting more sophisticated. It starts with Bitcoin, then Ethereum, and then so many other things, privacy, faster blockchains. I would add things like Chainlink, very topical for our investors today, a kind of critical infrastructure provider for tokenization, for decentralized finance. Almost impossible to imagine those use cases taking off without Chainlink playing a huge role. So exactly these types of conversations are where we're at with our investors.
Yeah, and interoperability, such as Axelar, which is probably one that nobody's heard of, but they're building interoperability across many chains right now.
Yeah, it seems to be interoperability, security, governance were the key themes I saw emerge this year for sure.
And privacy, just reiterating on how important it is for public blockchains to have compliant regulatory privacy within the regulatory frameworks. That's being innovated right now. We're building infrastructure and tools to have tokenized assets be able to trade publicly and privately, and that's table stakes for institutions. So all of that is coming right now. All of those seeds were planted this year, and we're going to see them come to fruition next year.
So the dam's about to break right now. Every piece we put in motion this year is seconds away from bearing fruit. The payoff is incoming. We planted the entire garden this year. Wisdom Tree report reveals XRP is the only cryptocurrency with sustained institutional inflows in all regions. A new report from Wisdom Tree confirms XRP is the only major cryptocurrency that institutions continue to buy across every region and product type, even during the month where most assets saw heavy selling. In Europe, XRP brought in 549 million of new money this year. This is more than Ethereum, more than Solana, and more than every other coin and basket except Bitcoin. Outside the United States, investors added 252 million to XRP products this year, almost exactly the same amount they added to Bitcoin products, even though Bitcoin products are 25 times larger. In simple terms, dollar for dollar, institutions added nearly 25 times more fresh capital into XRP than Bitcoin in these markets. That is the clearest sign possible that investors strongly prefer XRP than when they look beyond Bitcoin. In the United States, the newer synthetic XRP product took in 241 million this year, more than Solana Synthetic at 206, and far more than any other altcoin. While Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs in the United States lost, they combined 6.4 billion in November alone. Money continued to flow into XRP products everywhere. When professional institutional investors decide to put new money right now, they are choosing XRP over Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and every other major alternative consistently across the entire planet, and even during a month when most of the market saw heavy selling. That level of sustained global performance is rare and speaks directly to the confidence in XRP's current standing and future potential. So I just heard this and my jaw is on the floor right now. Look, I know the price action isn't screaming it yet, but stay with me because this is about to make sense. There's this massive wave of XRP getting bought up and immediately disappearing into cold storage. Eventually, the OTC desk is going to be bone dry, and then where does everyone turn? Ripple's escrow becomes the only game in town. But here's the catch. They're limited to 1 billion tokens a month, and guess what? We can burn through that supply too. Now picture this scenario. If Ripple plays it safe and only wants to let go of 200 to 300 million XRP from their escrow monthly, they're going to hit a wall. The only option left? Hit up the public exchanges. And that's the moment everything changes. We're looking at price jumps from $2 shooting up to $5, then $10, and it's going to happen way faster than most people expect. I'm already getting positioned for that ride. Oh, and here's something crazy. Spot XRP products in the US just smashed through $1 billion in assets under management in less than 30 days. Wild stuff. If this resonated with you, go ahead and like it, share it with your crew, drop your thoughts in the comments, whatever moves you. Have a killer weekend, and I really appreciate you being here. See you in the next one.